slide right across the studio there. All right, I think this is working. Hi. All right, back from vacation. I've been streaming for 2.5 years on a really consistent basis of multiple streams each week and so on and so forth. And so I thought what I would do would be to take a month off, which is what I've just done. So, with that in mind, I've still been doing stuff. I've been working on lots of different things, but I just it's healthy. It's healthy to rejuvenate and to get oneself back to what. So that's what I've been doing, and still got trusty old Corbin by my side, right? Right. I don't know if you could hear him meow. But we've got I've got some stuff to show you. So here's today's page. I'll get my big old noggin out of the way. And is that this one? No, it's this one. Okay, so here's today's page. I drew this in pencil, and which I've got I think I got the pencil, the original art pencil one up. No, I don't. That's okay. Here it is here. I'll take everything off there. You can see it now. And yeah, so this is what the original art looks like. And then this is what it becomes when I put black line art and color to it, and then add the words and magic beans. I've been doing some other things recently, and I'm going to sort of show you what's going on. What I'll do is I'll turn on the overhead first. And yeah, I've had a cold for a couple of weeks, so fun vacation, huh? That's all right. So these are pages. This is a story that I've done called A Village Haunted. And so this is the original art from those pages. And drawn in blue line art. So with, color erase pencils. And then I've also got the same thing in this form, right? Just the lead replacement leads. And you can get reload cartridges for those and so on and so forth. But this is, so when you see red in there or dark blue, I'm sure you can figure that out. But, so you end up using just a couple of different colors, right? And one of the things that was going on here is that this started as an initial kids going to investigate a haunted house, one-page suggestion, and I had fun. So what I did was I kept this going, and so this is now I'm closing in on 40 pages. So you can see so there's the pencils. Now what I do once I've gone through the pencil process, and is that I'll scan it and I put it into the computer, and in the computer is where we get, should I put that back up? I'll move you over there. Oh, happy days. This is where it turns into this. So from the original art to this is this is just flat colors, right? And I'm going to do some fancier colors to it as I go along, but this is literally just taking large areas and dropping a flat color on those. You can see it's a different green in the background from the foreground. Oh, Coburn wants to be involved. So, hold on, he wants to say hi. Come and say hi, buddy.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Mick Coburn, I'm a big cat. Oh, how you been? I've been waiting here at the camera every day for Chris to turn it on. He doesn't.
Anyways, probably has. There you go, buckaroo. Here, I'll put your thing on this side so everybody can see your face. So, so anyhow, this is what I've been doing, is that I've been going through these pages after scanning and converting them to black line art from the whatever colors I use. Sometimes I use the blues, sometimes I use the greens, light green, dark green. I think I did a transition to that at one point just because I'd run out of blue. silly business. But um, this story is a ghost story, which is something that it's a long form story and it's a ghost story. So but it isn't. You know what I mean? Sometimes they are and they aren't. So here's how the pages come along, and I've showed you up to these 3 pages from the original pencil art, and then I just, just keep going. So I've got more to do with the colors. I think that the basic colors are fine and good and everything, but oh, and that's today's page. So and I go through. Let me see if I can find another one for you. But I go through the whole story, and as I finish a page, I make sure I get it colored and so on and so forth. When I get into later parts of the story, you can see how the colors are more complicated, and yet they're still just flat colors, just basic colors. But each chapter connects back into the previous chapter. But what I'm doing is that I'm telling the same day from multiple ways, so from multiple characters' perspectives. And it's fun. I'm having fun. So that's the thing about working on projects, is that if you're not fun, what's the point? But it's it's been a lot of joy doing this one. So here's today's page once again. This young lady wants revenge for having soup poured on her head. It could go on to a larger story, just having decided to do so. And then here's the next page that I'll be posting tonight, called Tickle Torture. And again, this is, so if I take the color out, I take the background out. So this is the pencil art, the line art, and you can see how I've taken a character from the fourth panel, and reset him into the third panel. And the character from the third panel, I've reset into the fourth panel with a different expression on his face. So that's the fun part of a digital process, is that it can expedite how you're working, so that you don't have to, and then for the most part, this all works well. It's you get the impression the old guy's going, okay, yeah, but the other characters are carrying the emotional weight in the image. So that's today's page. Anyhow, so with how I go about doing these things, hold on, I put this second light on. That might make it better. That's better. So when I go about doing these things, the process of drawing is a lot of fun. And by doing all kinds of interesting and fun bits of texture, like the rope, or the trees in the backgrounds, and choosing which to abstract and choosing which to make a little more representative of an actual thing, it allows lots of leeway, so that you really don't need to be too elaborate in the coloring process, I don't think. And then so in between each chapter, I have a framing chapter. I have a framing mechanism, so that there's these insert pages. And with these insert pages, it's about yet another character in the story, and but who's also directly linked to the history of the town. And yeah, just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. And then there's a couple of pages where you'll see like this, because I insert from other sources into these panels. Like I've got them drawn on separate pieces of paper, and so they're taped in behind. Maybe I can show you a good example of that. Yeah, here's one. So you can see how here's an insert panel. And the reason these insert panels exist like so is so that there's spooky moments. Here's a note for myself I'll make in the penciling process. See this little spin it around. The directional flow is wrong. Turn her head around. Have her look back. Hi, Liz. Welcome aboard. I'm back from vacation. this is again some more insert panels. Spooky moments. That's right, a cow. Cows are spooky. A horse. Ooh. And pipes, anyhow. So yeah, so all of these little different bits, and again, lots of inserts for that page. So all of these little bits tie back together. Like here's the character that we saw in an earlier scene. Here's these two girls that we've been primarily following through this one. And, you know, back to that. So we go back again to that first chapter and what's going on now. So all these little moments. So this, and then this, what you see here is a realization on my part that in order to more fully flesh out what's going on amongst the characters, I need to insert 2 pages. There needs to be a page in between 13 and 14, and I think one more page for 14. We'll succinctly tie together one tiny missed moment in there for one of the characters. So that's what these insert pages are. This is the layouts for the pages that I'm just finishing off now, with the finished pencils. So this is what I prepared for myself, which is great because going back and finishing a project lets you pick up from where you were by being able to look at your own rough notes. So yeah, that's A Village Haunted. And in addition to doing that, let's see if I've got these here with me. I may not. And I'll move this up, by the way. I realize it's dropped out of frame. There you go. So I've got another project that I've been well, I've actually been working on numerous projects, but this is the next story that's coming in, and this is a space story. So you've got a very different direction to it, but I've left myself. So this is drawn with a green pencil, right, light green, and again I've got this in both different forms. There's this kind of a drawing pencil, and then there's, my green one's not in front of me, there's this kind of a drawing pencil. And so, show them all, we need to catch up. Oh boy, I got a ton of pages that I've done that I haven't posted, that I'm just starting to post now. So watch out. And so here's me laying out the next page, but I've already jumped ahead and started drawing further pages. This I just drew in pen for whatever reason. But here's another page coming up of our character. So what it is somebody's going back to Earth, and Earth has just gone through a whole thing of being conquered and then being liberated. And so he's trying to go back home and pick up where things left off. But these are pencils for that. So there's a real fun ability, a real affordance that drawing like this and then scanning your image and then putting that image in the computer, converting whatever color line art you're using to black, and then taking that and coloring it, and there's your story. You don't have to go through the whole inking process. That being said, as usual, I'm always in the sketchbook, and as well as the sketch stuff that I've been doing all kinds of illustrations as well. Let me see if I can find a stack of those. So I started doing these before. I'll show you these first. This is a new Call of Duty Awesome Composite. Is that a game? Your work sometimes remind me of. Oh, neat, cool. No, it's not a game. It's just going to be a sci-fi story. So I've been doing these before. These are just sketches of random characters and fictitious worlds, and just playing and not really taking those any farther. You see her? Oh, she's a ghost. Anyways, but trying different stuff out. So these are all older ones that I did a couple months ago, I think. There's a giant guy. See little birds? Anyways, he's a brainiac. So that's what all of this jazz is. And, ooh, monster. So where I've gone with this next is I started doing, and I don't do this often, But I started doing pinups from movies and portraits from movies, which is really not a thing for me. I think generally I'm not a big fan of people that do all this licensed character stuff for characters that they don't own. But it's a good practice for sketching. So there's Han Solo. This is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. This is, they need names. We'll have to name them all. This is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. In Return of the Jedi, he's called the Rancor Keeper. In Return of the Jedi, when Luke kills this big, basically dog-like thing, but it's like a dog dinosaur. I don't know if that makes sense. Called a Rancor. That's kept in the Jabba guy's basement. And I'll show you Jabba in a minute. But when he kills it, as the guards come and grab him to bring him before the crime boss, whose animal he's just killed, this guy's in a corner crying and being consoled by a friend. Hi, Susanna. Welcome aboard. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry I've been away. It's my first vacation time, really, and pretty continual posting for 2.5 years. So this guy's crying in the corner, and I just love that so much that I did a drawing of this guy. Just great, you know. Here's another sci-fi character, comic book character. So then this is just me sketching and playing with, but what I'm drawing with is directly, Lori went to the Netherlands, and when she went there, she brought me back a bunch of HEMA markers, and they're just fine tip markers, skinny little suckers. And I got black, red, blue, green. So I just started drawing with these things, and they draw so nicely. Mama Juju says, yay, I caught a live. Well, it's my first live in a month. I've been away for a month, Mama, so it's good to see you. Good to see everybody. So why has the kid got an arm? I don't know. So I just started sketching random things. Here's a fireman, and I'm sketching with these as well as paint pens. You know, and then also these, Lori brought me back some Ecoline brush markers as well from the Netherlands. And so I've been having a lot of fun. So these are just sketches of whatever I'm looking at in the moment. There's a car and a big field of rubble, laundry line between buildings. So this is just me monkeying around. And again, I don't do straight on licensed images. So my favorite moment of Luke Skywalker is Luke Skywalker looking right down the barrel of his lightsaber. First thing he does when Ben gives it to him, he goes and he looks right down the barrel of it, and I'm like, that is the greatest. You know, this kid's the last hope to save us all, and the first thing he does is looks right down the pipe of a laser sword. So I'll finish that maybe, I don't know. So here's again just random illustrations of random things and characters, and just playing with colors and shadow and light. What's a bright idea? Sorry, yeah. And just trying different things with these different tools, and just to whatever extent until I get bored. And so I got a ton of those. I'll probably bring them to, I've got a con coming up, a couple of them in September. And long time no chat. It's so great to have everybody here. Thanks very much, everybody popping in. So everybody's seen these sketchbooks before, and all of my randomness in them, and all the character studies and idea studies and whatever, you know, breakdowns, pages, whatever it is that I'm doing in whatever given moment. Hey kids, look at this. Anyway, but this is what I do here is that I take some of these, and then I'll do something with them later. Like, here's the caveman type guy you just saw, or there's the dude with the hat. You know, so let's see, what have I been doing lately? I don't know where I left off last time I showed people things. Whenever I get new tools, this is what I do with them, is that I play around in the book and just randomly scribble on pages. We missed you. Oh, that's very nice. Hiya, Linda. Hiya, Tim. Yeah, sorry, I'm back, folks. I apologize. I just month-long holiday and doing all kinds of things, and then catching a cold, and my holiday, which was supposed to be only 3 weeks, become a month. So these are all these character sketches and things, and panel ideas, and just random doodles, and trying out these Hema pens. So this red here is a Hema pen drawing. So it's really exciting, the details and stuff like that you can get with these pens. Trying sci-fi fashion, I don't know, just trying different stuff. But here we go. This is where I got the idea for doing these character studies, or just I started doing it with this. Now these are the pens that Lori picked up for me, as well. The red, the green, the blue, the black are, and then the oranges are Fudenosuke pens that you can get in colors now. So I've got a few of those: orange, yellow, brown. I think I had a blue, but I don't know what happened. I think it ran out. Anyways, this is stuff, whatever I'm looking at and illustrating. Hiya, Paul. How you doing, sir? Welcome. So this is me scribbling Star Wars characters as Lori and I are watching television. And so this is just because there's so much interesting complexity in all of the folds and structures of these faces that the creators of these went really out of the way. So while I don't do licensed stuff, this is just me playing with that. And then all these, just trying to do different interpretations of rock dudes made out of rocks. So that's what all of these scribbles are. We listening to Ozzy and shenanigans. Oh my gosh. That's fun. Yeah, he passed away, unfortunately, didn't he? And then here we are now. Hiya. Hi. This is how I do my books, and it's just literally nothing else. From that, like I really, there's no reason to fill up a page this much. It's just how I like doing it. Those Star Wars were so unique and wild when it first came out. No one did those. What happened with the original Star Wars in '77? It was integral. Lucas thought it was integral that they had that scene in the cantina, but they weren't quite ready for all the aliens and the monsters. So Rick Baker and his team, and he was just a young guy back then in his early 20s, they took all of these different things that they had kicking around in their workshop that they were just playing with, and just utilized them to the full extent within that scene. So half of those alien monsters that sort of set the tone for alien monsters in Star Wars was all impromptu. It was literally just last minute stuff, and I think that can be so interesting to me, because you'll come up with far more unique vision that way. And because when you don't have the time to overwork things, when you don't have the time to really just beat the character out of something by having it try to be something else that you've come up with along the way, you can really get something that does not seem familiar in any other regard. So that's kind of exciting. And then as they go on, what that did was set the tone so that any of these later developed monsters had to follow the rhythm from this early stuff, right? And I've always thought that was really kind of cool. So yeah, so there's the last so many scribbly doodly pages of those. So the Hema pens are really nice for drawing with. I enjoy them greatly. And so yeah. Okay, so I've got paper in front of me. Susanna's going on holidays after tomorrow. Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the music was also very different. Yeah. What's his name? the best part of the band, who are all bit people. That's what their race is called. Who clearly look like gray space alien stereotypes. Um, their name is Arnold Dan and the Nodal Loads. just the stupidest name. And they don't play jazz; they play jazz. It's just his version of jazz, which is just so silly fun. Susanna says, "You come and I go." I'm sorry, Susanna. But yeah, like Linda says, enjoy your holiday. So another thing I wanted to show you is this. When people get board games, okay, and you pop out all of the little playing pieces in your new board games, save these things. Save the little backgrounds or little templates. These hard cardboard, thick cardboard um, bits that you punch all of your playing pieces out of. Because before you know it, you can start to get this really great collection of. These are my little ones. I have about 20 things now. My oldest son is a huge gamer, and so he saves all of his different board game. He really loves board games, and so he saves me all of his punch out templates. And so I've got just a wealth of these things at this point. But what it does is it gives you a range of shapes. It gets you nice and repetitive patterns that you can add interesting complexity to your stuff. And when does it work? And you can get them in different sizes. Another thing that I found at a dollar store was this set. Excuse me a second. Now these are just thin polyethylene, and they're just this is all stars. Stars within a star. This is circles within a circle. This is triangles within a triangle and squares within a square. Just something really basic and simple, and yet this opens up potential avenues for you in your creative journey. So yeah, things like that, really inexpensive. This was $1.50. These were, well, free from my son, but I mean, those board games are expensive. As well as you can, of course, do your standard templates for circles and things like that. This is unfortunately to me still largely an afterthought to remember to use these. I'm a foolish person. And oh yeah, I got circles. I don't have to draw this by hand, but I've already probably started drawing the circle. Mama says, right, healing. We all need self-care time. Oh, for sure. You sound refreshed. Hit the reset button. There you go. I also picked up some of these watercolor pencils, and it's a nice set. I like it. Came with a paintbrush. It was terrible. But I haven't really had an opportunity to use those yet. So I've just been, playing a lot, and getting those juices back. We're at 872 one-page stories since the start of 2023. So I needed a break. What did I do during the break? Drew one-page stories, as well as these short stories that I showed earlier. And I'm going to pop those up again. I'm going to, here's another the short stories to finish. There's the one from today, and then this is the short story that I'm finishing now of the haunted cottage. Haunted Cottage. It's just a working title, but we'll see where that goes. So yeah. So lots of things, lots and lots and lots. I hope everybody's been productive. I hope everybody's been following their creative journey and doing the things they like to do so much. I also rebuilt the studio, which is a thing I do. I don't know if I did that before I went on holiday or not, But yeah, so I have a bunch of things that I've been working on, large paintings and such, and yeah, feeling good. But yeah, we're back to it. So I've got some paper. I've got oh yeah, see here's another page from a sci-fi thing that I'm doing. I can't show some things because they're for other people, but yeah, it gets tricky, right? Like I'll show this really quick, okay? These are quick enough that I shouldn't get in trouble. So these are page breakdowns from a project that I'm doing for somebody else. It's been one of the things ongoing. So that's what some of that jazz is. Anyways, yeah, so one of the things that I showed earlier is this, and it's the roughing out of page breakdowns. And whatever, I don't know what other people do, with whatever simple ways that you can do that to figure out where things are going, whether it's textually or visually. I'm bogged down in a 12 by 9 journal, a little large. What's everyone else doing? That's a big one. Oh, wow. Liz says I'm going to take with me a pencil, a notebook, a pencil, eraser, and a pen to draw some stuff on the holidays. Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a thing I picked up recently. And again, dollar store magic. This is a small little case that it had a set of paintbrushes in that I'd found at the dollar store. Pretty little. And so you open it up, and out in were all these paintbrushes. So I took them out, and while I have half the things pulled out in the moment, hey, I found my pink eraser. I have a number of different black and white mark making things that I keep in here: pencils, China markers, pencil crayons, pens, paint markers, doodah, and these little HEMA drawing pens. So these are fun. And then I keep a small eraser, I keep a small pencil sharpener, and I keep a small ruler that's used for needle gauges. You can find these at like a Walmart for $3, and it's to see what size of the needle that you need for whatever your needlework project is. But what they are is absolutely fantastic ways to get little circles on something, and a great little ruler. Yeah. So all of that fits inside of here, right? And just a zippity doo-dah, and there I go. It's a traveling kit. So if you can put something like that together for yourself, for your holidays, it's so much more manageable. That, and there's cases like this where you click it open the side, and you pop that down, and now you've got access to all your tools in there. And so I bought these at the dollar store, and they were full of the paints, right? But I bought a second one. I put the paints over in the painting part of my studio, and I'm using this to hold these really nice soft markers that Lori picked me up. The blending tool, which I've never used. I don't necessarily use blending tools. But yeah, I'm working on a big Bertha Hute Art Junkie journal, about 7 other journals. Oh yeah, that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. Everybody's got, like, I've got my stack of sketchbooks. And which ones will I take today? And and I've been drawing in all of them, similar to what I showed earlier. It's you never know where the inspiration's going to take you. So yeah, I completely get that. Okay, so I've got this. Now, one of the things, I was talking to a bunch of kids during my holiday there. I was doing some art classes and stuff in summer camps, and so one of the things that I sort of showed them, and I've shown this a million times, is circle, triangle, and square, and how somebody can draw anything they want. Say more on the Big Bertha, please. That sounds fun. Oh, yeah, let's hear about the Big Bertha. Yeah, Suzanne, I think that's fantastic. And just draw whatever you feel compelled to do. If you open up a magazine, you want to draw that because you look out the window and you're like, I don't want to draw this. Well, whatever. Just draw your feet in front of you. Have fun, right? So one of the things I was showing the kids was stuff like how to draw their camp characters. Like there was using these shapes. So if they use, here's a circle, here's a triangle, here's another triangle, there's another triangle, and yes, Corbin. So you can, before you know it, you've got, no, I'm just getting responses. Before you know it, you've got the underlying structure of a bird, and all you're doing is using really, so this is a circle, by the way, and then you just pick and choose the lines out of it, right? That's what this is too. So then you just pick and choose the shapes that you want, and those shapes inform you with all the information that you need to draw, whatever it is that you want. And in this case, I'm drawing, the eagle, or I can't remember, I think it was an eagle, the eagle character that the one camp group had. And so I taught all the kids to draw. I'm trying to do this from memory. I don't quite remember what it looked like. But, and then of course little triangles at the end. And then you round the ends of the triangles for the feathers. But just using basic shapes really allows people to get there. And then the whole point of doing all that pre-work for your art is then you just take a marker, a pen, or whatever, and start drawing the details onto all the decisions that you've already made in order to get your eagle all laid out for you. And so it was kind of fun. The kids really impressed the heck out of you when you let them go. But you get the gist of it. So there we go. Carry a glue stick. Hey, that's a neat idea. You never know when you'll need one. That's kind of a great idea to throw a glue stick into your traveling kit. I like that a lot. Good for you. Large crow bags are about 20 more, tab bound together. Wow, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, because then you can collect things as you go on your thing, and if you can compress it all within there you go. What do you need? Corbin says hi. All right, is that it? Yeah, he just came to say hi. So anyhow, that's the whole thing I was doing with the kids at the camp. When I'm laying out, I'll just keep using the same paper, but when I'm laying out a story, like today's thing that I've posted, which is already all drawn and everything, but I'll just show you quick like this. So it's the same as so these are the decisions that you make in your head when you're drawing your characters. You rough out all these geometric choices in order to put your character in to any given scene, right? So after a while it becomes a sort of short script. And so I'm trying to reproduce my own page here. Just give me a sec. So all those natural decisions that we make along the way, that we understand how form works, we understand how bodies work. A lot of people will do this. So this is just as valid as trying to do finished drawings when you're sketching on the go and you've got your travel kit with you. It's one of those things where everything doesn't have to be absolute perfect. The whole idea of those is to generate to generate content for you from these random ideas that you get, so that when you sit down again, oh, now I've got all this material to execute. And whoops, I did that whole thing off the camera. I apologize. I'll just keep going. So here's the bag and so forth, and then there's the reflection part where she's leaning on the same glass that she's leaning on this way. Here's in the way, here's in the way. And here's our character moving in the opposite direction in the reflection, right? Right. And then we've got to put her doodly doo in there, and also the side of her leg there. That tucks underneath this leg, right? So, and then that's today's, that sort of scribbling allows you to, when you sit down, well, you've already got your layout for a first panel on whatever your project is. So just let yourself do stuff like that too, right? Or scribbling trees, just to scribble trees. Well, if I got nothing nearby, it's all the way over there. All the way over there. I'm not going, it's so far. Anyhow. So yeah, so I'm constantly sketching stuff like that. That's a fun thing to do. These HEMAs are interesting because they're just fine line markers. Excuse me a second. Okay.
Hi, everybody. What's up? It's me, it's Corbin. Welcome back.
All right, you happy now? There we go. He's purring away. So he's just been sitting here antagonizing me the entire time. Are you talking to me? Are we back on? Are we back, Dad? Are we back on? Let me talk to all my fans. That's what Corbin's saying. He thinks he's got fans. We don't have fans, buddy. We have friends. So you can scribble with some, and again, don't be overly precious about everything being perfect. I cut each bag up to fold to make single pages. I glue the fabric paper, whatever hits my brain to cover, and pages and flips, etc. Paint and mix media to page. Oh, that's fantastic. Everybody's saying hi, Corbin. Everybody's saying hi to you, buddy. Yeah, he's happy. Yeah, that's a great way to do a journal. I just do this, which is not as in any way, shape, or form as good an idea. What is all this? Oh, just more. Okay. I keep, like, this is a stack of 5x7 paper. Whenever I'm doing whatever, I'll size stuff. If I cut something off of something else, I'll size it down into different scales. And I have 4x6 pages, and I have 3x5 pages, or 4x3. And so everybody says they're here for you. So I just keep all of these different surfaces to draw on. That's what this is in its entirety, is just random bits of cardstock and Stonehenge paper and random bits of, here, like this is small skinny pieces that I've taped together. And there's a lot you can do when you've just got stuff to scribble and doodle on. That's what I'm doing all those little portraits on. And then the other thing that I do is, see, again, stacks and clipboards is how I work. I really like the idea of binding them all together, but I'm probably too impatient. Yeah, we know I'm too impatient. So this is the same kind of thing where it's all just whatever random paper, and I'll scribble on. I did a one-day convention, and I drew a couple of one-page stories during the convention, and fun in the sun. Here's this is random bits of paper, random piece of paper taped over top and just scribbled on. I never know what to do with all of these things, so I have stacks of this in the studio that maybe I'll rework that into something else, and I don't. I just don't, But oh wow! Mom even flipped that thing over, and Corbin just hopped up and gave me a kiss. Okay. She flipped it over and put jelly plating on it. Yeah, that's awesome. Carry that around too. That's the other thing that I keep accessible, is these jelly plated surfaces like this. That's in this this stack of junk. And because look at this thing is just asking to be. Well, I put the white lines on it, but it's just asking to be a one-page story on it, right? So, yeah, that's a really great idea, Mama. Moma? Is it Moma? Yeah. So, yeah, so this is, and again, you can do the same thing if you need, if structure is important, you can apply, even if you're drawing with markers, you can put your structure down, for your characters, expressions, etc. Whatever. Have fun. Just do whatever takes your interest, and it doesn't have to be. That's why my sketchbooks look the way they do. Is that that way I can just play with whatever little random idea. So that's why you'll see a lot of these characters aren't finished, right? Like here's a guy with wings. Yeah, that's as far as I went with that. And oh, look at the eyeballs. Like, so, meanwhile, there's Gary Oldman from The Professional. Yeah, you'll find little inspiration moments like soldiers in World War II, trudging through water, sci-fi hallway, whatever. But I'll oftentimes just draw the form and not fill in the details. And that, again, if you're outside and you're walking about and you see trees that you think, oh, there's some compelling shapes in there, draw those. Yeah. It's been so long. April or Juju's fine. Okay. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Thank you, April. So so there we go. So let's do a one-page story. I still got the book kicking around. I've been carrying it around with me, and then I just set it someplace. Hey, put it right here. It'll be handy. And then now I've covered it up completely. What did I cover the book up with? He's no help. Okay, if anybody has a suggestion for a one-page story, shoot it at me. We'll just do it live. That's I really like the idea of having all these prepared surfaces, April. That's awesome because you don't want to overthink stuff, right? You don't. Sometimes people look at a blank piece of paper and go, I don't want to wreck it. I don't want to make a mess of this. It's pristine and lovely, and it's just whatever. It doesn't matter what you're going to draw on it. Just do this. Just scribble on it, and who knows what that's going to give you. It's kind of liberating that. So, all right. Well, how about we do? I don't know. I have no ideas. All right. I'll show you another thing that I like doing too. I have these markers. Are these brush pens that Lori brought home. So here's a nice little light blue one. And so I'm just going to start. So there's a fellow I would recommend people check out. His name is Karl Krupinski. And so Karl will do similar to he does it with pencil. But Karl does something similar to how I go about things at times, where he'll draw scribble shapes for characters, for character forms, and then he has to take that and turn it into something. So here's I'm drawing a cowboy. I don't know. Chicken Little fights the drones from Doctor Who. All right. That's good. I'll put that in here. Let's have him right here. I don't know what Chicken Little looks like, so we're just going to draw a cute little chicken. So here's our first panel. So I'm just drawing the rough form of I'm going to go off panel with that. That's okay. We'll sort it out. And so there's the rough details with this Ecoline pastel blue paint or brush pen. It's concentrated, sort of soft, watered down ink. And works great, does the job, but you have to let it dry for a second. So let's write this down. Chicken Little fights drones. Is that a new Doctor Who thing? From Doctor Who. I haven't watched Doctor Who for the last so many seasons. All right. There we go. So, I just haven't. I really enjoyed Capaldi, and I sort of, as he was leaving, I'm like, it's a good stop part just to pause for a little bit, and I just haven't really got back to it. So, okay, so here's our first panel. So right off, I gotta let it dry a little bit more. Back over there. Let's see what I can get in here for. So I've got all the form really kind of laid in from the marks that I made with the brush pen. And so now I'm just picking and choosing details and carving things out as I go. But the fun thing about the roughing it in by the marks is that it doesn't make a hill of beans difference what I add to it next, because it just becomes interesting complexity in the background, and then you can always come in over top with like a white postcard or something like that and start pulling out some of those values. Well, I want a highlight right here. Well, I just punch in some white, and I want this to be darker, so I draw a darker over it, but now it's got this interesting blue value inside. So scribble, scribble, scribble. Yeah. So there we go. So here's the start of the breakdown for, it's drying pretty quickly. And I'm just trying to remember, what does a horse saddle look like? And I I'm just trying to consider what that might be. So here I'm putting the hand in. Corbin's looking at me like, again, are you talking to me? Because I am right here, Dad. You're not even looking at me. Did the kitties get any treats when come back to? Oh yeah, you got to bring treats back to the cats. Yes, they did. They spoiled rotten, right? Spoiled rotten. These cats. They were left alone with me for 2 weeks, and I tried to keep to an absolute schedule with them, because if I didn't, they would always sort of go and look at me with those eyes, and I'd be like, did I remember to feed you? And they're like, no. Yes, I did. Excuse me. So, yeah. So I kept them on a timer, which is so silly. And they listened to an awful lot of classical music, because I just left it on the entire time. It's not that Lori doesn't like it. It's just that she'll remember to turn the thing on. I just leave it on 24/7. It's one of those, you tell it to play stuff and it plays stuff. Yeah, I had one of those. So I haven't put too much detail in our guy here, so I'll just find some as I go. Again, the scribbling that I did at the start, I'm not concerned about that either. Just leave that in there. Doesn't matter. It's scribbling. You could pull it out if we want. Right? Yeah, they got cool cat toys and stuff when Lori got back, and they were really funny. As I'm pulling up from having picked her up, they're both waiting at the door. It's like they knew, and they weren't waiting at the door for me. It was just dead. But Lori brought everybody home. Made little treat bags. It was so fun. we ended up dispersing those to everybody. So here's our cowboy. I'm not sure where I'm going to end. I think I should put an end to that panel there. So there's our horse. Now, I've got to put Chicken Little in here. So I think I'll put him right here. In our foreground. It's just nestled into the scene with the cowboy facing a cowboy. And I can have a dialogue back and forth between the two of them now. So this is scribbling away for... Oh yeah. Gregorian chants make excellent background music. Oh, it's true. Yeah, they get angry when their people leave. Yeah, well, we got a new kitten. My cat baby passed, so we got a new kitten named Lucy, who she kind of looks like she could very easily be baby and Corbin's daughter. And she's about, it's part of my sniffling. She's about a third the size of Corbin, quickly growing, but it's so funny because she's right in the mix with them and carrying on and being silly. So she was, wandering around the house just like Corbin. They're both sort of walking around the house, wondering where Lori went, and wondering why Dad has torn out the bathroom the moment that he got back from dropping Mom off. Well, not the bathroom, the laundry room. Sorry, and I did stuff in the bathroom too. But I went through and built a new storage system in our laundry room. So here's our cowboy. That's a little big. Let's cut it down a little bit. So here's our big cowboy. Got his hair sticking out the back. Give him his cowboy hat. So our rough drawing that we put in, it's serviceable, but we make changes as we go. There's our cowboy guy coming together. So this will be the Chicken Little fights the drones from Doctor Who. It's fun. It's a fun idea. No, Corbin. I'm arguing with Corbin. Okay, so let's see. What in the world is... Okay, so there we are. So now I've got our cowboy with his jacket open and his shirt, and give him some folds in his shirt, and then we'll raise his other arm. So isn't not Chicken Little that is the sky is falling guy? I'm taking a leap here. I think that's who Chicken Little was, is the one that was always stating that the sky is falling. Because I'm going to have him going, look up there, it ain't falling. Okay, it is. Thank you, April. All right. So here's our little guy here, and then I'm going to do the next panel. Do I need to do the blue stuff for folks, or is it all right if I just scribble it out? So I'm not overly precious about the marks on here because I can come in afterwards and clean up. But let's put our our little chickadee, our little chick. So our next panel break will be here, and then here's our little chick, and he's gonna say, "Hey, I'm just telling you what I saw." That's my Lucy voice. That's how I say she talks. She doesn't. She says, "Well, hello everyone," just like that. No, she doesn't. So here's our little chickadee. Looks a little menacing, doesn't it? It'll be cute when it's a lot nice and canary yellow to it. We'll put the furry little body in here because our chickadee is sitting on the. And then what I'm going to draw right here is the post, the brass post part at the top of the saddle. Or should I draw the hand on top of it? What did you eat? It's hard to feed yourself on your own. He ate chicken. Yeah, no, I was fine. So I had this when I was a bachelor. I would make a pot of something, and that would do me quite well. The only time I would cook for the kids, but I really wouldn't cook worth of beans for myself. And so I had this habit of making some food and just eating that food routinely for however long. And, like here's a pot of macaroni, and I'm eating macaroni for like 3 days. And here's all the stuff for sandwiches, and guess who's having nothing but sandwiches for however long. And I told Laura I wouldn't do that, so I ended up on the second day she's gone, I made a crock pot full of chili and a crock pot full of soup, and I just using up all the things in the house, right? And then realizing I'd done the thing that I said I wouldn't do, and so I got all this chili and all this soup in the fridge, and but thankfully I've got people adult children that might be hungry. Dad made too much stuff. So here's the cowboy's hand as he's holding the knob part from his saddle. So I've got the little chickie sitting here in front of him. So when you look at the context of it, you can see him in the first panel, and now we see him in the second panel as part of their conversation. And so then I can do a zoom shot on our cowboy as well. I'm just saying. I revert to snacking versus fixing meals. Is that right? Yeah, no, I can't. I'm not a snacker. Can't do it. I have to do the regular routine, thing because of the type 1 diabetes, as Wilfred Brimley would say. So there's our first panel, and then I'm gonna draw. I don't know what's that guy's name. That's not Sam Shipman. It's not. What's the guy that always plays a cowboy? The cowboys like this. Played Ron 2 on Arrested Development. Well, anyways, I'm drawing him saying it. Well, I'm just saying, little chickadee. Just such nonsense. So there's his eyes, and here he's looking down at our chickadee. Pardon me with the coughing. I'm so sorry. That might cut an end to me if I start. Yeah, see, now I got a frog in my throat. I mean, again, I'm trying to get over this cold. So here's our cowboy looking down on him. I was just saying. Pardon me. All right, so here he is. And we'll put in some of these little details we got from his jacket and so forth. Now I can really push perspective, but unfortunately, yeah, I'm almost done. I'm sorry. I have to drink a drink. You can really push perspective. You can make a choice to push this image back farther and to draw it so that the little chickadee's head is larger, and we scale it from their perspective. But I chose to zoom in on him and have him say, "Well, what's what?" You know. So we'll keep it consistently with his clothing style, the scarf around his neck, and so forth. And so there's our other top panel, and so then of course we can have we can do something with the drones now. We'll start implementing those. I have an idea, but I don't want to give it away because it's fun in the sun. But we're going to implement our drones. So I'll draw just one more image here where I show him pulling out his pistolero. And then there's the chickadee down here on the horse's neck. And then, of course, there's our horse. You can even have the horse look at the drones, too. Why not? Hey. I love having, a character you don't expect to talk go, well, what do you think of that? I got to go. I'm working. Got some stuff to do outside. Glad you're back. Be safe. Bye, guys. Bye, Susanna. Thanks so much for popping in. And everybody else that's popped in today. Thank you very much. So we got him. Here's all the drones. All gathered around and we'll do the Doctor Who drones. I think that's the ones that is being referred to. And of course, our big finish can be chickadee. I'm trying to think of how I can do this because the wings aren't very useful. I'm trying to think of what their little this is my big finish with this page layout is the chickadee is going to go hiya and kick a drone. Because it's all about getting our little chickadee into the fight, right? And my son's a drone last Christmas. They're awesome. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, no, that's absolutely quite brilliant. I really got my older sons we've watched Doctor Who together, but I think as with anything, when they're teenagers, it lasts X amount of time. But it was a fun thing that we did ourselves. So there's our breakdown of our page. I just gotta sit down and finish it out. But yeah, my throat's really at me now. So, like I said, I'm getting off a cold. So, I'm gonna wrap up for today, and I'll get this scribbly dibble dote and post it for tomorrow. And I will be back, probably back to my usual time, I would think, or maybe we'll come up with a new usual time. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to be here for it'll be 1 o'clock, let's say, tomorrow. And yeah, if you're around, hop back in. I'm back to in the studio on the regular daily basis here, and so I'll be streaming on a regular daily basis again. So if you're around, please by all means drop in. That's about it for me. Thanks everybody for popping in. I hope you've all been well, and I hope you all stay well. And thank you very much for our visitors in our chat and our conversation here. That's so awesome. What time is it there now? Okay, right now it is noon. It is 12 o'clock, 11:56 here now. So if I come back for 1, depending on where people are, it's a 6-hour difference from here to Britain and the Netherlands. So it's 6 hours. If it's 2 here, it's 8 there. If it's 1 here, it's 7 p.m. there. And if you're in the east coast of North America, it's 3 hours difference. So if it's 1 o'clock here, it's 10 o'clock there. So, that's the best I can do. I was gonna do nights for the working people. Yeah, I was going to, and then I immediately got a cold. I immediately was not feeling great, and I had the whole house flipped over from renovating while Lori was away. I apologize. So I will, I'll try to come back in the evenings and do a few more of those because that's a lot of fun. Okay, everybody. Thanks very much for everybody coming out. I'll pop back in tomorrow, and I'll pack. I promise I'll pop back in one of the evenings this week. Okay. Everybody, take care. Thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks very much, Linda, the moderator at the Mostest.